Ah, good afternoon, me hearties. 'Tis me, Scottie McCLUE, the first lord of the internet and the world's top broadcaster. We are, of course, live on YouTube. We're live streaming on YouTube at just after 12:30 on Saturday. On Saturday, I'll just get you the exact date so you've got it for you. Yes, the 17th. The rest of it wasn't sure. The 17th or the 18th. The days flee in when you're enjoying yourselves. Welcome, 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 I say. Lovely to have you with us. And what's happening here, the reason I'm streaming at 12:30 on a Saturday is because there's football on across central Scotland. And this grew out of a chat during the week when somebody said, I don't think you'll get many viewers to your live stream, Scottie, because there's a massive football game on Saturday and everyone watches the football. Well, of course, we shall see about that, because what I did, me and my big mouth, I went on Twitter and I took a poll, a Twitter poll, just to see. And I said, who would watch an Old Firm football or who would watch Scottie McCLUE live streaming? And we did quite well. We got 40% for Scottie McCLUE live streaming. Now, I thought that was rather good given the circumstances. So there we are. Fantastic stuff. Excellent. Scottie McCLUE live streaming, or, what do you have? So there we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. So much better, Scottie. Better quality, Kareem. So there we are. Excellent. We've got to test all these systems, and see what's what. And very, very good of you to feedback with a few comedians on earlier, I think, with the feeding back. And that's always interesting. So what we'll do, I'll do a couple of shares. If you see me sharing here, Kareem, do not panic. Sharing. Yes, always like to do a bit of sharing. I think it's very important. There we are. You can't beat a little bit of sharing. I meant to pick up a mouse mat from downstairs, didn't I? I forgot my mouse mat. So you'll hear the mouse clattering around, but I don't think that's the end of the world. So there we are now. If we can let everybody know that we're live, that will always be a goodie. So there you are, an alternative to football. And the game will have started. So there you are. Have you got the tally on there, Kareem? Can you tell me if the game's actually, has everything kicked off as it should? There we are. We'll maybe even get the Skype going. And we can have a bit of chit-chat. There we are. Alternative to football, 17, 10, 20. Scottie McCLUE Video Talk. There we go. And we'll just click on that and send it round just to let everybody know what's happening. Very, very important. So there we go, live streaming. Just because you can have too much football, can't you? You can have too much of a good thing. So there we are. And we'll just put live now. Live now. Live now. Oh, yes. Live now. Alternative to football. Yes, at Scottie McCLUE. That's the stuff. Wonderful. Right, so what I've done is I've popped that up on the YouTube, and that will just let everybody know that we're on, that we have an alternative, and that we've started. So that we're fine in terms of vision and sound, Kareem. Everything working well there. Scottie Independence now at 58%. I don't want to know about the football. So there we are. And jinx it. There we are. Oh, well. No, good stuff. Do you not find, Kareem, that in your workplace, the only conversation some people have is, so what did you think of the game last night? I think I didn't watch it. Fantastic. Right, welcome. There we are. And we'll just pop that up there, let everybody know what is what, and then we'll get on with the gen. So there we go. Welcome. Good. That's up there. Scottie McCLUE, the world's top talk show. And we'll just put that we're live now. I'll keep sending this round because I think it's very important we'll pop it on to all the big players and say, big players, see what I just did there. And I'll be here for the duration of the game. Fantastic. Now then, live now, so I can move that. I'll move the drink over. We've got quite a lot of new equipment has come in for hopefully the Scottie McCLUE phone-in. So that would be rather good. That's what we're doing there. Fantastic. And I'll just say, join me now. Me now for an alternative to football. There we are. Wonderful. And I'll just put in the URL. Join me now for the alternative to football. Very important for an alternative to football. Yes, that's great. Right, and I'll pop in the URL, yes. And everybody can do the same. YouTube.com and / and what are we? We are SCOTTIE McCLUE 1, aren't we? User / SCOTTIE McCLUE 1. Good. So that looks rather good. YouTube.com / user / SCOTTIE McCLUE 1. Let that up there, and we will build up a following. Join me now for an alternative to football. Right, send that out. Wonderful. And we'll see what happens. So the result of the Twitter poll was 60% want to watch old firm football and 40% want to watch Scottie McCLUE. So I was really quite chuffed with that. I thought that's rather good. That is absolutely excellent. And yes, we'll just see what happens there. We'll just keep that going round, and that will let people know what is what. Scottie, what do you think you'll have the phone-in up and running 1 week, 1 month? All to do with the technical side, Kareem. We've just added the mem this morning, just minutes before I went on air. But obviously we can't have a sound problem. So we need to sort that. And then we need to see what we're going to use as the phone carriers. I've also want to see if the mem improves the multi-streaming. And if we can get the multi-streaming going, then we can all liaise. We can discuss it, you see. And people can come on and do their stuff. And I rather like that, actually. I think that's excellent. So there we go. So it shouldn't be too long. My problem is I want to get the profanity delay sorted, because otherwise there's no point. You just get a lot of wee half-witted idiots phoning up to say something silly. And there's no point in that. So that's why I want to try and get it right, Kareem, if you can see where I'm coming from. So it's not something you do overnight. And of course, with COVID, places are not open. Rangers 1, Celtic 0. So there we are. So if we're up for the Jazz, it's right. If we're up for the Celtic, it's woo. You know, and but we'll see how that goes. We will, of course, although we are an alternative to football, that's not to say we won't bring you the scores, you know, and see what is what. And so there we go. Live now as an alternative to football. Kareem, I don't know if I told you, talking to somebody and they said, well, I'll tell you what I'd rather be listening to, and it was McCLUE. It's very interesting. Live now is an alternative to football. I think we've got to get this stuff out here. You know, there's too much just following the crowd, isn't there? Not enough individual thinking to say, well, you don't have to watch the football. You can watch Scottie McCLUE. Oh, is he on? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh. It's away. Right, that's that. That's excellent stuff. If you just joined us, a very good afternoon to you. You're watching Scottie McClue as an alternative to watching football. You can come on here and have a bit chit-chat, put in your tuppence worth, let us know what's what, and occasionally we might even bring you the results of the game. Susan Shaw, good afternoon, Scottie. Hope you are well. Absolutely, Susan, and I hope you are well too, my dear. Lovely to have you with us, and dinky-doo, as we say. Welcome to our Saturday afternoon alternative to football. Chit-chat instead. So there we go. Wonderful stuff, mind you. Very, very interesting that the results... I'm not sure if I told you, Susan, but the reason we're popping up on a Saturday afternoon was during the week somebody had said you won't get many viewers because there's a big game on. And then here we are, Scottie, the bungalow in Carlisle was a very weird layout. Aha. No privacy. Many folk keep saying, why Carlisle? But I do like the place. Maybe I should look at the Highlands as well. Well, the thing about Carlisle is the communications are excellent. So you've got a city there, are you looking for town? Are you looking for country? That sort of idea, because you don't actually have to be in Carlisle itself, but you do need a little bit of presence. You need to take your time and get exactly what you're looking for, because things can look one way on the internet. J-Dog, yes, good afternoon. You got the RAM fitted in yet? The RAM went in about half an hour ago, J-Dog. It popped through the letterbox, and old McCLUE had the back off the old laptop, and the RAM popped in now. What's excellent, we did a nice pop-up this morning and adjusted everything, but Kareem was just explaining that the volume sounded terrible the second time I tried to stream from the laptop. So, maybe there's something funny about the camera setup or what have you. So the volume wasn't good. That's not so good. So we need to find out all about that. But I'm obviously not going to muck about during a live cast. We don't want to do that. But what I'll do right now is just let everybody know. Have you all subscribed and have you tried saying to your television, Alexa, play Scottie McClue on YouTube? I think that's something we need to be looking at, alternative to football. So I'll just put live right now. I'll just put live now. Right now. Live right now. Never a dull moment on here, Live right now. There we are. Wonderful stuff. So that's letting that go. Alternative to football. Yes. Wonderful. That's the stuff. And then we can pop in, I think, I'll just put Saturday here, just in case somebody's not aware of what day of the week it is, that sort of idea. There we are, alternative to football. That's super. Get that in there. And then we'll put up one or two teams so we can see what's what. Now, we've got Old Firm. It's bound to be something for that. And we'll just pop that up. That is Rangers and Celtic, isn't it? Rangers and Celtic. There we are. That lets everybody know what's going on there. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I think it's important to have everybody realizing what's going on here. Wonderful. good. Right, I think that will just get everybody sorted there. I don't think there's any need for anything else fancy. And I pop that up. So that's it up. Spanish, thank you very much. Not watching the Old Firm game just now. Too scared to watch, says J-Dog. Oh, J-Dog. No. What we've got, as you know, J-Dog, we agreed during the week, you can either choose Scottie McCLUE or the Old Firm football. So I did a Twitter poll. 60%, surprisingly, went for the Old Firm football, and 40% went for Scottie McCLUE's live stream. So I thought that was rather a good idea. So, you know, you can't have it always, can you? So I think that's rather good. I've just posted a tweet. Don't know if you want to retweet it, J-Dog, but I'm just looking at who's had a look at the tweet already, and it seems to be... Oh, can you believe it? Have a guess how many people have seen the tweet already. Maybe because you were using the laptop's internal microphone. Yes, I may have been using that, J-Dog. It may have switched from the camera, because there's one on the camera, isn't there? So, you know, I should maybe have been using that instead, because Karine was saying it's very muffled. And we might be... I've got little... I'm just wondering where they hide the microphone in the laptop. Maybe I've got little speaker grills just at the top with the switch in the middle. I'm guessing 51 views. So there you are. 138 so far. And 4 engaged. 148. Sorry. My goodness me. Right now, Saturday morning, alternative to football, 150. 150, J-Dog. What about that, eh? So usually at the side, So it might be at the side. So we may be muffling it with stuff. I'll have a wee look. Yes. So we might be muffling it. So we need a separate mic. I mean, J-Dog, you know, you've got to take it a step at a time, as you know, when pennies are tight and when we're in the middle of a pandemic and all a recession and everything else that we could excuse boots for. But having said that, I would imagine the fact that we've got the RAM now, and obviously a superb camera and a superb microphone would be the next step. So we'll see what's what, and then we'll get the lines in. So there we are. 190 views now. There we are, J-Dog. And I would imagine you've retweeted. You can get a professional radio-looking mic on Amazon for £20. We like that. There we are. What about the mics in the cameras? Are they usually quite good? That sort of idea. I mean, there's a difference, I suppose, in just a domestic Skype call. And we're still to test the multi-streaming, J-Dog. It wasn't working because of the lack of memory. But we'll see if we've had a difference. It's lovely. And I had it fitted in minutes. You'd have been very impressed, you know, with old McClue popping that meme in there. Fantastic. Getting more RAM, doubling the RAM on the laptop. It took a wee while for everything just to percolate through, though. And then it started to go fast. You could see things were happening a lot faster. And I've got the very latest equipment in terms of Wi-Fi, but it doesn't actually up the speeds, sadly. So I do need to see. I don't know if you can apply specially to say, can you do anything about the speeds here? There we are. So we'll look at that. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I should say good afternoon if you've just joined us. A very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue, the world's top broadcaster, the first lord of the internet, and the world's most humble man. And we're live just for you as an alternative to football. For people who don't want to sit through the football, then you can come on and join us here. Tremendous stuff. So there we are, 228, J-Dog. 228 impressions. That's not bad, is it? There we are. That's just going up all the time. So there we are. Hopefully the multi-streaming goes well. Well, you'll be hearing, you see, because I'll do some tests later at some point. So if you've got the phone handy, and you think there he is, the old fool. What's he doing now? Then I'll be testing the multi-streaming. If it doesn't go well, the next step would be to change the CPU. Now, the CPU, is that the processing unit? Does that stand for? Give me CPU. There we are. I thought maybe that was something you did if somebody collapsed. If it doesn't go well, yes. So, we'll see how it goes, yes. Is that a big job, the CPU, or could that just be popped in as well? Central Processing Unit. Is that right, J-Dog? Did I get that right? Wow. I love it. Fantastic. Well, that's going to be the next step then. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've just joined us, make sure you've subscribed. We are the alternative to football. Tremendous. And we've got 256 on Twitter. I'll just let 260. Now, why are all these people not, I find this very strange, not subscribing? J-Dog, I'll tell you what's interesting. We had, I think the other night we touched, was it 4,500, 5,000? I can't remember. It was several thousand people were perusing Scottie McClue's YouTube channel, but they weren't all subscribing. Would they even be logged in, I wonder? How interesting is that? They're loving the channel, but they think, no, I don't want to go and subscribe. And that's why I put up, does everybody know that subscribing on YouTube is free? I think it's the word subscribing panics people. Panics the Scottish people. Oh, watch now. Kasich said there's a charge. And even some daft-eyed bat asking me, was it some kind of scam? I said, no, dear, no, it's most certainly not. It's absolutely free. And my time is free on it. So, there's no panic at all. People are funny, aren't they? You get that sort of nonsense of folk. Right. It's not easy to fit in a PC, but I don't know about a laptop. Well, I think I saw it in the laptop last week, and I think I also saw the battery. Would that be right? With its own little separate panel. Wonderful. And we got the mem in there. Right, we'll put that up. Scottie McClue. Wonderful. And I'll just post that. That's it up. Excellent stuff. If anybody's got a Reddit account, then Scottie_McClue. You can see the analytics of your channel. Sometimes you can see that lots of people are viewing your channel, but not subscribing. Yes, I think it does. Yes, the battery is separate. So there we are. I suppose, should I have taken the battery out when I was putting in the mem? And also, J-Dog, can you tell me, if you're removing the memory, are you not removing everything? I was amazed when I, switched it all on and back up came everything. Is it not contained in the memory? Here we are here, J-Dog. I can show you, see? There we go. That was all that was required. 2 of these wee chappies. 2 of these wee chappies, No, you're not removing everything. Ah, right. So there's virtual memory as well, is that right? And other things. So that was strange. Right, going for some lunch. Hopefully I'll see your test streams this afternoon. Absolutely, J-Dog. Have a wonderful lunch. Lovely to hear from you. Thank you for all your quality input. And I will see how it goes. Because, if McClue can do it, everyone can do it. That should be good for business for YouTube. So there we are. Fantastic. So we're doing good works all the time. Good works all the time, I say. Right. I'll just do a wee bit shading here, guys. What are we thinking about everything, by the way? We haven't had many discussions about lockdown, about COVID, about how your life is, what's affecting you, what's concerning you, what's worrying you. I had a good debate about, should we ban alcohol? You know, very, very interesting. Now then, user forward slash one. Right, as an alternative to football. As an alternative to football. There we are. Live now as an alternative to football. Get that going. Off we jolly well go. And I'll just put that in as a comment. Good. And that's that out there as well. That lets everybody know. Going for lunch. Stay safe, Scottie. Have a lovely lunch. Susan Shaw. Lovely to hear from you. What is for lunch today? With the avocados. Let me see what we got there. Scottie, did you see the new Robbie Coltrane intro video for Queen Mary II restoration? No. But I'm a big fan of Robbie Coltrane's work. He knows a lot about these things. And the Queen Mary II is very close to my heart. I used to go on the bridge regularly. I have taken a ton of the wheel when she was steaming. And I wasn't. I hasten to add. And also spent a lot of time down the engine room watching. There was a lovely platform there. And the steel wheels used to glisten. They were just big valves on their sides. But people stood up at them and opened and shut the valves as the telegraph rang. So it was that side, I think. Ding, 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 ding. And shh, letting high-pressure steam in and out of the turbines. And then if you took a spell standing on the pier, on the quayside, you would see the big brass props, bronze props spinning. Beautiful, beautiful things. Till the water got too creamy. There was too much creamy wake stirred up by the water. Fantastic. Right, tell everybody about this, guys. Tell 10 that we are on there. Alternative to football. Very, very important. There we are. I'll even pop one on my LinkedIn. Put up this morning. Excellent. I'll have a look at that, Dave. Thanks very much. Appreciated. Scottie, how's your golf? Now, Karim, I don't golf. Oh, dear. So there we are. I don't golf. Susan Shaw's having homemade soup, Scotch broth. That would be lovely. Did you put a hoch in it? Yes, fantastic. Hoch soup. They're doing the Water Group. Right, Dave, I'll be right on to that. They're doing the Water Group, and we'll look at Queen Mary II. I remember somebody telling me that it was great that the Waverley was saved, but one of the things they should have tried to save was the Queen Mary at the time. And I also remember when the big turbine steamers, the Duchess of Montrose, I think, left us in 1960, would that be right? Or was it 64? And I think the Duchess of Hamilton left us around 69, 70, that sort of thing. I would need to check the dates again, but that kind of idea. And I remember somebody saying to me, I said, what about the Queen Mary? They're not removing her, are they? He said, oh, no. She'll run well into the 1970s. There we are. Queen Mary II. Quite liked the big single funnel too. The best of all was the Jeannie Deans. The Jeannie Deans. Now, she was the one that used to throw out all the smoke and ash. The last time I saw the Jeannie Deans would be about 1963. About this time of year, standing on Gurrock Pier with my father, and the Jeannie Deans was sitting moored up. And I think that was kind of nearly at the end of her time. I seem to remember being on her. I remember being on the Talisman, because the Talisman was the one that you walked over the shafts on the deck as they were going out. They probably all did to an extent, but I'm trying to think. I seem to remember climbing over the Talisman shafts as they went out at the side there, the DEPV Talisman. And I saw her with guns on it, looked like Orlicans. So there we are, very, very strange. As HMS Aristocrat in the Second World War. And I'll tell you what else, I used to work on the Ashton. I don't know if that rings a bell with you, Davy, but I was the cabin boy on the Ashton. And what we used to do, I saw a book, in fact, recently, and in the book was a picture of the King and Queen, Queen's father and mother, going on board the Ashton. Yes, it looked like she was commanded by a 2.5, I think. And she'd been given to somebody as a tender. Yeah, because there was an officer standing at the gangway, and I thought, it's the Ashton. So at that point, she'd be almost new when she was requisitioned for Second World War work. She was built in 1938, and I was on her in 1968. By the sound of your enthusiasm, we could have a whole program about this subject. Dave Dyer, absolutely. Anything to do with the Clyde steamers. McCLUE's your man. I used to be a member of the CRSC. And in fact, they chartered the Ashton. She was called the Gourokian latterly because she was sold to Walter Roy Ritchie. And he ran a 2 4-cylinder Gleniffer, 45 horses. And Robbie Coltrane would love all that. So, because he's very good with diesel engines. Great videos of the new Queen Mary 2 appeal. Good. Well, it was interesting how quick the 2 million quid appeared for the Waverley. So I wouldn't be surprised even if all these times of recession, because these steamers are loved, standing on Dunoon Pier on a summer's evening, and in would come the Queen Mary II, when it was still warm, the evening was warm. This lovely big thing coming in. And of course, what was beautiful, Dave, as you'll know, about turbine steamers was they were almost silent. High pressure steam spinning the blades. And the blades would be about, they weren't much more than that kind of size. Yeah, that was a turbine blade, about that size. There was just many, many, many of them. The casing would be about, I would have thought almost a foot thick, the shells for the casing for the high pressure steam, So that was the thing. But, yes, to be standing at the pier, to be standing on Rothsay Pier, and in they would all come. I mean, very, very nice, But the noise on board, if you were standing on a summer's evening on the deck of the Queen Mary, I remember a friend saying, "You're coming with us, we're just going for a wee sail." And I think they were going down from Gourock to Weems Bay. And I thought, I will go for that. So we just clambered on. And there's just a handful of people that had a great blether with some of the crew. And what was incredible about that was the only noise was just in the background. That was your turbine. They used to call it the turbine whine. I saw her engines when she was on the Thames. Ah, right, Dave, because they were well down. It was a fair old clamber down the engine room, right into what they call the bowels of the ship. The bowels of the ship, the steam piping and everything. All covered in asbestos wrapping, of course. It would have to have all been removed. So there we are, tiny. The blades were absolutely tiny, yes. That was the size of a turbine blade, roughly, maybe a wee tiny bit longer, but not a great deal. And I'll tell you, I remember also being on board the King George V when they had the engines opened up. And again, she was a big turbine. There were mainly Parsons turbines on Denny's hulls. So there we are. The Queen Mary was a Denny's ship, I think, yes. Pretty sure she was Denny's. The Duchess of Hamilton was unusual. She was Harland and Wolff. There we are. And a lot of the other yards, A.J. Ingalls at Point House built the Waverley and the Talisman. But then you see, it's interesting because both the Waverley and the Talisman would be LNER boats, London and North Eastern boats, originally the North British. And the boats from the North British would have been things like the McCLUEs, the Lucy Ashton. So there we go. And then, of course, you had the first, I think you had 3 Waverleys. Was it 3 or 2 Waverleys? And there was different Glen Sannox as well. Fairfields were the Jeannie Deans. Yes, Jeannie Deans at Fairfields. They did share the work about a bit. It was my old friend, Jim Ferrier, that put the engines in the Waverley. He was Rankin and Blackmore, the Eagle Foundry at Greenock. So there we are. 3. So there we are. 3 Waverleys. Yes. So you had one around the 1890s. You had one that was destroyed at Dunkirk, and Captain Cameron was on the bridge at Dunkirk, and they gave the new Waverley in 1947 to Captain Cameron, to John Cameron. Johnny, yes, great guy. So they are fantastic. So there's your stuff there. How's about that? Do you like that one, Dave? And I don't know if you remember of some of these wonderful groups on Facebook on the Clyde steamers and Clyde ships. Fantastic. I do enjoy them. Marvelous. Shipping is very important. And I noticed that the UK now has very few pleasure boats. And that is as a result of government policy. So boating is still huge. You think the number of people that had yachts, motor cruisers, 1930s stuff through well into the 70s and 80s. And then the Chancellor, for some strange reason, charged boat fuel, right? There's a lot of politics of envy. And people thought that if you had a boat, you must have more money than sense. That's the British way. Wrong. Because there were a lot of wee converted lifeboats with diesel engines in them. And things like Parsons Pikes, Kelvin petrol. Oh, yes, petrol paraffin. So there we are. What's Dave asking about? What about Hull Prague? Why not, Dave? I mean, feel free to put your tuppence worth into this one. We've got some other people that come on who are amazing. And you'd love it if we get everybody on together just discussing Clyde steamers. And not to forget the West Highland steamers. A great favourite of mine was the Loch Fyne and the Loch Nevis. Motor torpedo boats, yes, the old MTBs. Now, a lot of them had the big engines in them. What engines were in them? Was it Bristol Proteus or something? Or was that a jet? Anyway, I can't remember, but the Bristol Proteus, was that not one of the Bluebirds on that? Malcolm Campbell's. No, but there were big engines in them, and what a lot of people did with the MTBs and the Fairfield launches and the 55-foot harbour launches, they would take them out and put in maybe gardeners or something. So they didn't have the speed, but they had the economy, because otherwise they just drank the fuel. With a wee weep on the carburetor. Oh, there's always a weep on a carburetor. Very dangerous. Merlins. So there were Rolls-Royce Merlins that were in it. Now, I don't know if you remember a pilot ship called the Cloch. I think she arrived about maybe 1967 or 68 on the Clyde. And she had a Rolls-Royce diesel, and you could hear her everywhere. This huge roar and a great big exhaust. So there we are, fantastic. So Merlins, Rolls-Royce Merlins in the MTBs. And that's why they could streak across the channel. Fantastic. But the fuel, they would be virtually alcoholics with fuel, I would think. If you've just joined us, folks, a very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue's Alternative to Football. There's an Old Firm game on, and me and my big mouth, I tweeted a Twitter poll during the week to say that I would be live at 12:30 on Saturday. And here we are. Lots of spares after the war. Oh, yes, you'd have been able to pick anything up. In fact, I can tell you, I have an advert on a motorboat book. A motorboat book. Motorboat book. Try saying that with a refreshment. A motorboat book. And it says, it gives the name of the guy to get in touch with if you're interested in ex-Admiralty boats. So obviously they would have done you a good deal. And the lovely gentleman that I mentioned earlier, Walter Roy Ritchie, W.R. Ritchie, had been Ritchie, one of the Ritchie brothers, ferrymasters. And Roy, lovely, lovely guy, he had bought a boat he called the Westering Home. And somebody posted a picture recently of pilot boats at Gourock. And they said, but I don't know what the other one is. It had a royal blue hull and a little buff funnel. And I studied it for a bit. And I said, that's the Westering Home. When Roy bought her and brought her up from the south, and when I was on the Westering Home, they'd converted her. They'd taken out a big Glenifer diesel and put in a Kelvin K4 88 horse and removed the funnel, got it exhausting out of the side. So there you are, side exhaust. Scottie, I've seen so much negativity towards you, stating you're a has-been who's from a bygone era. Scottie is timeless. Aaron Shabir, absolutely. Don't worry about any of that, because I don't. It's a huge jealousy of the length of time Scottie's been around. Scottie's now in his 29th year of broadcasting. So next year will be 30 years. And it's still as popular as ever, right? And I'll get people. Now, why would you do this? Why would you target a major celebrity and go, ha, you're finished. You're nothing like you were. You're a sad person. And you think, no, not sad, and haven't changed a bit, and all is well. So where does all this negativity come from? And of course, it's what's known as classic projection. Yeah. And they tell you you're nuts and you should go and get help and all sorts of things like that, because that's all they can think to say. This, bearing in mind, is in the middle of a discussion and they can't discuss. So they go daft. You know, that sort of idea. It's very funny. So don't worry about the negativity. You will get buckets of that, because what that is, Aaron, is what's the word I'm looking for? It's how success manifests itself. If I wasn't so successful, people wouldn't comment positively or negatively. You see? That's the whole thing. Dinky doo, Aaron. No, Scottie's absolutely timeless. I mean, I will eventually, pass away to the next life, hopefully a long time to come. But, say we did another 30 years of broadcasting. That would take me up to 66 years of broadcasting. So that's not bad. I had a woman telling me yesterday I couldn't even speak. Tot, tot, tottity, tot. So there. So please, Aaron, if you see negativity about McCLUE, it's because people wish they were me, and had done some of the things I've done. Fantastic, I've only met one bad man in my life who took money off me, and he had huge problems. Great to see in the video about Doon the Water, talking about these wonderful times and vessels. Oh, Dave, absolutely. What about one for the future? What about a video Doon the Water? Yes, because there's still stacks about, and there are a lot of paddle steamers, I think. I had a book, and sadly, I don't know what happened to it. Somebody had given it to me, and it was full of little black and white photos of stuff that you might not see, like the Kingswear Castle, the BL Nairn, which I think was a steam paddle ferry going from Dundee to Newport and Fife. Would that be right? That sort of idea. There was another lovely old boat, the William something, that used to go from Leith to the Fife ports. The second Snark, which you used to see, which was Denny's, and would have had Glenifers in it originally, I think, was used by Denny's as a tug. And then the second Snark was on the East Coast for a while as a wee ferry. Was Craigendoran Pier the other day? Was it Craigendoran Pier the other day still there? Yes, the LNERs, of course, used to go to Craigendoran. And the railway pier, I think the railway came right down to the pier at Craigendoran. And the Waverley would go there at nights, quite often, if I remember right. And I'm not sure, I would imagine at Craigendoran you got the Lucy Ashton from, built at Tamseaths in Rutherglen in 1888 and was still running in 1948. And after that, they took her hull and put jet engines in it for the Admiralty. The Lucy Ashton, another lovely, all the Scott characters, Meg Merles, Dandy Dinmont, Lucy Ashton, Jeannie Deans, Waverley as in Waverley novels. You know, all fantastic. What else have we got? There must be more. Scott novels, the Waverley novels. So there we are, Craigendoran. What's happening with Helensburgh Pier, Dave? Have you got any information on that? The most precious pier and station, of course, Wemyss Bay. Well, Wemyss Bay, when I was wee, Wemyss Bay was just an absolute treat. It was a festival, covered in beautiful hanging baskets. And you'd got, if I remember right, there was a John Mingus shop, or John Menzies, the publishers. You know, you could buy your papers and your books and things like that. So you could take a trip round the Clyde, Wemyss Bay to Rothsay, back and forward. And if you missed one boat, I mean, you know all this, Dave, but if you missed one boat, so say I was going to Dunoon of a Saturday, say it was Cowell Games, and we always used to get tickets for the Cowell Games for the stand. And I remember getting these tickets. And I thought, going down, I thought, people were going, we're going to miss the ferry, we're going to miss the ferry. I said, would you calm down? I said, there's no shortage of boats in a games day. So somebody would say, you know, you might get the Loch Fyne at 9:30 on a Saturday. Get the Loch Fyne. If you missed her, you would get the Car Ferry, the Arran, the Bute, the Cowell. You would get one of the maids, the Maid of Skelmery, the Maid of Argyll, the Maid of Ashton, and the Maid of Cumbria. You get one of these. You'd think, don't worry, there's the Duchess of Hamilton. She's going to Campbelltown. She can drop us off at Dunoon. Aaron says, I heard you subtly mention your life savings a few times. What happened, Scottie? It was a guy who went into business with me and did away with my money. He didn't want to go into business because of the business. He wanted to go in to see if he could get money out of me. And he managed to pull a few fast ones. So there we are, all that sort of idea, you know. Nothing you can do about that. So, you know, but anyway, we don't go there because you just have to make your way back from that sort of thing. But it was a terrible, terrible experience. Yes, terrible experience. So there was somebody that you thought you could trust and turns out to be a thief, a liar, and a cheat. Tut, tut, tuttity, tut. So there we are. But anyway, we're not going to, no names, no pet drill. These things can happen. And I dare say I don't think I'll be the only one it's happened to, but it was an unfortunate experience because it was something that could have been very, very good indeed. So there we are. So that was where that came from. So don't worry about that. Hello, I'm back, J-Dog. Amazing. You've missed some incredible chat about Clyde steamers. All the wonderful pleasure ships that used to go around in the Clyde. Guys, if you've just joined me, a very, very warm welcome. You're watching Scottie McClue, the world's top broadcaster, the first lord of the internet, the world's most humble man. Always put that in to stop anybody going, he's a bit full of himself. World's top broadcaster indeed. Jimmy McCLUE was better than him. That stuff's nonsense, you know. You get the wee jealousies that come out from people when you're doing well. You know, and even when you're not doing well, they appear up and they think, not so smart now, eh? Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You think, yes, but we were very smart, weren't we? Any more questions you wanted to ask me about the laptop when I was gone? J-Dog, I could talk to you for hours and hours about laptops and things like that, you know, because I love the idea that young people can teach older people a lot of things, you know. I remember a friend and his grandfather was always asking him about his computer. And also I remember visiting a friend's garage, and I'd popped in for a wee chat. The car was getting looked at, and I'd popped into the office for a wee chat. And an old gentleman, it was a very social garage, one of these places, and an old gentleman came in and he said he was having trouble with his mouse on the computer, I think. Anyway, it turned out, I think this guy was about 97. There are classes that people run to teach the old and how to work the internet. I know, J-Dog, but I don't want to look upon myself as being too old, you know? That sort of idea. There we are. Scottie, things progressing on Cart's Bun for possible shipbuilding venture. The Great Times. Dave Dyer, that would be wonderful. You know, I mean, shipbuilding should return to the Clyde. Do you know, I'll give you an example. Now, you can check this out. Yarrows were originally a London company, and I think they were based as shipbuilders on the Thames. And then they realized that the Clyde had these tremendous facilities, fantastic waterside set up, plenty of room, the river itself nice and deep and fairly safe, and handy for that, rail and road links to mines, to steelworks, to suppliers, forestry, wood, and of course shipping. You could ship everything in. I remember talking to an old cousin who died just short of her 100th birthday. Wonderful lady. And she had every single one of her faculties just 100% intact. And I asked her about a huge mansion house that's now ruined that was built in Argyll. And I said to her, where did they get this stone for that? Did they bring it in by sea? She said, no, not at all, from the big quarry at the back. So sometimes you're better to have something where the facilities are handy. So that's what I was thinking there. So you can check that one out, Dave. But Yarrows came up from the Thames, I'm pretty sure. Scots were around a long time in Greenock. Cairds were around a long time. Harland and Wolff were the shipyard that they moved the old kirk, the old West Kirk in Greenock. They moved it from the bottom of... what was that? What's that wee street running down? Anyway, where there's now a superstore, and Harlands and Wolff's, where you would turn down into the superstore. Harland and Wolff were there. They built a whole factory. You could tell it was Harland and Wolff because they put the Harland and Wolff into the brickwork, and they only built one ship there, you know. And then further along was Mitchell Swires, the plumbers, and then Drummond's, the tin boxes, and the Coopers. Fantastic. So that was that. And they moved that old church that's now at the end of the Esplanade at Campbell Street. So there we are. So that's well worth a look as well. They moved that church stone by stone, and Burns Highland Mary was buried in the churchyard. And they took her up to Greenock Cemetery, I think, if I remember. Back enjoying the chat. Excellent, Susan Shaw. How was the Scotch broth? That's what we need to know. I think we should be told. Anybody know what's the latest on the football? Anything going on there that we could be looking at? Anybody know anything about that? I ask you all. The latest on the football. What's going on? This is an alternative to football, so we're not discussing football, but what we can do, well, I couldn't discuss football because I don't really know very much about it, to be honest with you. I delighted some people recently. They said, oh, yes, you're from Glasgow, aren't you? Are you Rangers or Celtic? And I said, now, what are they? I've heard of this. And they looked at each other and went, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. A bit of nonsense. You can't beat a bit of nonsense, can you? You know? And it's also interesting how people get triggered. You know, oh, we did have a troll on the other day on the live stream. Talk. Funny how people, you know, they want to be nasty. They want to bring their nastiness into something. I have no end of it on social media, sorting people out with things. We should read out some of the social media, shouldn't we? No names, no pack drill. See what's what. Be quite funny. Some of the answers that you have to put in. If you've just joined us, a very warm welcome. It was good, Scottie. Lovely soup. Excellent stuff. That's what we like. Right, I need to tell more people that we're live. You should all do the same. Pardon me. Where's my water? I've just seen that we've been on for 50, nearly just come out to 57 minutes, nearly an hour. Feels like 2 minutes. Oh, that's lovely, that is. Very, very nice. Now, have you seen some of the videos this week? Been a few good videos put out. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Dave Dyer, I mean, do we think we can get... See, I would love to see Greenock back up there with the very, very tops, the very, very best of them. I would love to see that. And I'll just... What I'm doing here, I'm just going to... I think I can change this a little bit. You can do the same. Right, so alternative to football. We'll maybe put up there that we're looking for some attention. There we are. Attention. Alternative to football. Live. Right, that's going up there. So tell me what you think. I'll put this up and you can see what you think. Wonderful. And we'll also put it on the, pop it up in the playlists as well. I think it would be a good idea, wouldn't it? You see, we're only scratching the surface on YouTube here, so don't worry if you think, oh, there's not many people there. You think, don't worry about that. There could be several thousand watching right now. It was good, Scottie. Yes, good soup. Scottie, how's the dog today? Kareem, the dog is absolutely outstanding. He's got this new lease of life because I've steadied up the weak paw, the one that was weakened by the fibrocartilaginous embolism. If you check that out, Kareem, FCE in dogs, then you'll understand what that wee soul's been dealing with for the last 12 years. So, you know, he had 2 years of his life as a crazy, wild, runabout wee guy. And then just when he should have been settling down, this FCE, fibrocartilaginous embolism, struck. And I thought I was going to lose him at 2. And he's the most adorable, adorable wee guy. Lovely, lovely spirit. And just zero malice. I wish he could, pass his spirit round the world. They could do with dogs like Clyde in politics. That sort of idea. Anyway, we could do with dogs everywhere. Anyway, check that one out, and then you'll see what he's been dealing with. But eventually the weak paw wasn't really holding him, so he would manage a few steps and then sort of sink down and then get himself up. And this little support gives him the power of the leg back, so he doesn't sink down. So he can virtually have a normal walk. The only downside of it is as soon as he gets that strapped on, he's off. And old McCLUE has to take off after him. I have to run to keep up. Me running, Kareem, There we are. There's a little vision for you, I say. Right, what else have we got? Right, I'm going to just publish that lot and see see if we can get some folk to come and join us. So thank you for asking, Kareem. The dog is wonderful. And what's happening with the football? Because I can't see. We should have about another half hour to go. Is that right? Did they kick off on time? Was kick off in time? Kareem, if you want to give me a Skype, you'd be very, very welcome. Scottie.McClue. And I'll see if the Skype's on. We might be able to get you in. Yes, we're active, it says. There we are. Wonderful. Active, yep. There we go. Wonderful. I'll just, I'll put that out there and people can Skype. I've just realized I can share it. So I've shared it out onto Facebook. And that will let everybody know what's happening there. There we go. So if you wanted to give us a wee Skype, you're very welcome, Kareem. Always a good idea. Oh, what if that was? It's telling me to check my internet connection. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Wonderful, isn't it? Oh, yes. Right, it's not letting me log in with that, so I can't share that just now. Not to worry, not a big problem. Yes, I'm signing into Skype. Good man, Kareem. And you can give us a wee Skype. Let me know what is what. That would be just wonderful. We would all enjoy that, get a wee chat. And when we get the phone in up and running, folks, you'll see a lot more of this. I think it's very, very important. Right, that's that one. The only one I don't seem to have is the one. Yes. Okay. Not a problem. Aha. Aha. Right. Okay. So give us a wee call, Kareem. We should be able to get you up on the Skype. Right. You're into football, Scotty? If so, who do you support? Not into football at all, Ethan. So that's why we decided today should be a very good alternative to football. Just waiting for you to log in, Scotty. I'm logged in, Kareem, so you press on, dear boy. There shouldn't be a problem. It should go now. I say. I'm active. Definitely. Active. Yes. Right. This is saying, mind you. Hold on, Karim. We might be onto something here. Right. Right, Karim. We are onto something here. Bear with me. We are defo onto something. Never a dull minute, Karim. Never a dull minute. We're onto something here. So just, right, just coming, Kareem. Don't dash off, as we say. Don't disappear. Oh, definitely onto something. Yes, yes, now we're talking. Right, don't disappear, Kareem. I've got a new idea for you. Right, this should work. Hang on. Hang on, hang on. Here we are. Right. Now, if this works, Kareem, we are in business. It's telling me wrongly right. Now, Kareem, let me just see that I'm logged in here. I'm going to be... I think what's happened, we have to log in again. But no, stick with it. Never, ever, ever not stick with it. This is fantastic. I see. This is fantastic. Right. Try it now, Kareem. Everything seems to be all green lights. See how we get on. Scottie.McClue. Yes, that's it. SCOTTIE.MCC. Oh. Hello, Kareem.
Hi, Scotty. How are we?
We're brilliant, actually. Fantastic. This is awfully good of you, you know, to join in the alternative to the football.
No, anytime, Scotty. How are we?
Well, we're fine, and thank you for your feedback this morning. Was it really sounding dreadful, the microphone?
When you done your test earlier on before, it was perfect because I was out walking the dog in the field and everything was fine. But when you came back on, it was very muffled.
Ah, right. So something's not quite right there. It sounds like it's all sortable because the new RAM and things like that. So it's quite exciting.
Yeah. Yes. I think J-Dog's the man. He's the one. He'll be able to keep everybody right with all the technology.
Yes, he's awfully good with it, and I'm very grateful to him. And I also like the idea, as I say, that the younger generation can teach the older generation things,
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, absolutely.
We're learning all the time, but it's rather good. I know it's taking an absolute age, Kareem, but as you know, when you're working on a limited budget, you can't just phone up and order the absolute top of the range stuff and get it delivered and plug it in, because that would be great. Superb film camera or whatever, and microphones and a nice mixer. The thing is, of course, also the profanity device, because we know that the wee Neds are going to try and ring up, So I think, I think we need to just take our time. And it was the new internet equipment hadn't been put into the other device, so that was why I had a job getting you there. Now, more importantly, how are things with yourself?
Thanks, Scottie. Your opinion on something? I won't give names.
No.
But I'm on Facebook just now, and I've left a wee comment. It was in one of the news. And sadly to say, it was out in Edinburgh that an Asian woman, was spat on in a Sainsbury's store. And I commented saying that I think this kind of thing's going to happen a lot more as Brexit comes in.
Yes.
And I've been absolutely attacked left, right and centre with a lot of people by making that comment. So what I've done, I've added an academic article with research to back up my opinion, which nobody seems to be saying anything now since I put that down. No. It actually shocks me the amount of people that are actually, I think the word is there a difference between prejudice or racism, or is it interlinked?
It's all interlinked. I mean, it's basic xenophobia. And if you put that down to somebody, the social media sites don't like it, and they come and try and ban you, and they say your comment wasn't, so somebody could have said the most dreadful things to you, they get off with it. But when you put down something, it's probably because it's robots that are looking at it, and you put down something like xenophobia, then they don't like that, because all that stuff that was coming about the asylum seekers. You see, what it boils down to, two things are on the go here, Kareem. Thing number one is every single one of us is an immigrant, right? Now, my family have been in Scotland for around 1,000 years, but they came in with the Vikings. So I'm a Norwegian, you see, even although I've been here for 1,000 years. Now, we all originated in the African Rift Valley. St. Columba, who brought Christianity to Scotland in 564, he came over, he was a boat person. He came over, he'd been flung out, the monks had flung him out for something or other, being too clever, and he came over and started Christianity in Iona in Scotland, So he was a boat person. He was an asylum seeker, if you like, or a sanctuary seeker. Now, you can't go and bomb countries so that people are, left with nothing and have to take to the road to try and preserve their lives and the lives of their children and their spouses. And not expect them to try and go somewhere, So that sort of thing. And also, immigration is the lifeblood of any country. So people have been moving, but there's a lot of misconceptions. A lot of these people that are attacking you are like, do you remember Till Death Us Do Part on the telly? Did you ever see that with Alf Garnett?
I didn't.
Right.
No, I didn't watch that.
But these are, the BBC had introduced this programme. And one of the actors on it was Tony Booth, who's Tony Blair's father-in-law, Sherry Booth's father. And he was the son. And Warren Mitchell, who's a fabulous actor, played this reactionary old guy. Your working class Tory of the day. Your Churchill, he had the right idea. This sort of thing, yeah? So we're still in the kind of PR from that, from the British Empire, what have you. And of course, we wouldn't have done anything in both world wars if we hadn't had all the forces, the Indians, the Africans, everybody fighting for the crown, as they say. So you had that. Now, the other thing that is in play here is that religion has never actually caused a problem. Now, if you see that on social media, they go berserk because they don't understand that what's caused a problem is a lack of knowledge and understanding. So when you see people say, I don't want to know anything about religion, it's dreadful, you think, well, you're part of the problem because you're not building knowledge and understanding. So if you have an idea of where somebody's coming from, and you could say, no, he's from a different religion, so he wouldn't be into that. Yes, right. Because you understand where they're all coming from. So it all boils down, Kareem, basically to education.
Yeah. I think with religion, Scottie, it's not the religion. I think it's the certain people that get into positions of power within religion and their points of view, and they use religion to their advantage.
Yes, I mean, I was getting castigated the other day because somebody was saying to me when I was pushing the line on the anti-monarchists need to get their act together or independence will fail. And they were like, we want a republic, all that stuff. And it might be great, they want a republic, but they're not going to get one. All they're going to succeed in doing is clobbering independence. And it's even benign. All they need to do is be very supportive of the status quo, you know? So you've got that, and they were asking me about the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
Read the Declaration of Independence. I could tell them it backwards. And the Declaration of Independence was the aristocracy writing to His Holiness the Pope to ask, could they choose the monarch for Scotland?
Right.
Because they wanted, was it Bruce at the time? You know, that sort of idea, who was French. And that makes me smile when people go, the Queen, was she not German? No, she's 50% Scottish. Her mother was 100% Scottish.
Scottish, yes. See, I want you to be seated. Before I started listening to, I think it's been over a year now, because it was when you were in Nation Radio and I got into the programme and that. I wasn't for the monarchy at all, but I've opened my mind now and I see the importance of the monarchy, and especially in an independent country. If we get that next year, the royal family will play such a key role in an independent Scotland. I do believe that.
Yes.
And I think for tourism and with the opportunities with the houses of residence, which we spoke before, and potential new places that can be built for tourism, I just think there's so much opportunity. So I think it's up your upbringing was not for the monarchy, but now I see the importance and I've opened my mind. I hope I'm not going to be shot down for that, but
there's nothing about the monarchy that is not actually positive for the country, because like a guy saying, how can you go on about the Queen when there's people starving and all? I say, look, the people starving is a direct result of political policy. If you removed the monarchy, the people would still starve. If you took away the palaces, the people would still starve. So the poor will always be with us. It just depends on how much those who have got themselves into positions of political power care about poorer people and are willing to, direct resources towards that. For instance, the government tonight could put a stop to homelessness. They could bring out a homelessness bill that nobody in this country must go without food or shelter. That would be a pity, wouldn't it?
I think I've been shot down for saying this before as well, but I think when it comes to poverty, and I mean, Scotland does have its fair share, but I don't agree with the giving money. I think it should be like what they done in the Second World War, where it was kind of rationed, but obviously modernised, like a card where money gets put onto it, where you can buy food, no alcohol, no cigarettes, but actual food and some type of basic clothing. And I just think that would solve society's issues and problems a lot more, where people will not go hungry. And I don't know why it's not ever been thought of or discussed.
Kareem, these were all discussed on Scottie McClue's phone-in. Now, the powers that be at the moment are, they're just running scared. So all your radio and your television, it's play safe. Don't say anything that might upset somebody. Now, anything you say will upset somebody because they won't agree, but people need to stop getting upset by what's said. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And when you say you're getting shot down, always remember you're an extremely clever man who's switched on, who's interested in leaving the world even a tiny bit, how much we don't know, better for having been in it. And you will do that because good has to triumph over evil. Always. And, you will do that. So these people shooting you down, they've got a problem with ignorance. They think, you kind of say, I don't know what you're talking about. People actually say that. They go, I don't know what you're talking about. You're off your head. Now, what they're actually saying is, you're way out with my understanding, and I'm not prepared to increase my understanding. Do you see where they're coming from? Hello? Have I lost Kareem? Says he's still here. Kareem, you're still here. Maybe he'll give us a call back. There we are. Right, just lost a bit of Kareem there. Not to worry. We'll get him back. Now, how are we doing? We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Hello, Kareem.
I got cut off for some reason.
We lost you. No, we suddenly lost you. But did you manage to pick up that? So, you are a very wise man, and you've just got to accept that, and these people need to increase their learning. They need to increase their learning and their understanding. So you mention the Queen, then you'll get people who've had their heads stuffed with nonsense who will go, the money they cost us. They don't cost you anything at all, barely, 50, 60p a year maximum, just for the public side of it. But it's virtually self-financing. Very strange.
I don't think that's much at all, 56 pence a year. I think that, even if it was £2 a year, it still would not bother me.
50 or 60 pence a year for the monarchy, because what you've got, people say, but you've got an unelected head of state. Well, that's the one that keeps them on the right path. What did Boris do when he had to go and see the Queen, when he wanted to prorogue Parliament to push this Brexit thing through? You see?
Yeah.
He had to go and see the Queen, because it's Her Majesty's government and Her Majesty's opposition. And people don't realise, but when they say the people are sovereign in Scotland, the people are sovereign in Scotland courtesy of Her Majesty the Queen granting parliamentary sovereignty. But she is still the sovereign. She's our head of state.
Yes. That's excellent, Scottie. Thank you for those kind words earlier on.
No, these are facts, Kareem. I'm glad that you liked the words, but that's the truth. Absolutely. I'm losing you here. Hello. We've lost Kareem. Anyway, that was wonderful, wonderful call. Excellent, Kareem. Thank you very much for that. Super. Now, somebody told us what's happening with the football. Oh, we've got some great stuff here. Celtic 0, Rangers 2, says Susan Shaw. Is that still right? So there we are. Scottie, I respect, Ethan, I respect all religions, which is something religious people can't say. Yes, all religions, absolutely, Ethan, but even religious people should be able to say that. You know, if your own faith is strong, then it can cope with a doubting Thomas. Sages, Scottie, remember you on Nottingham radio stations when I was a kid? How long ago was that? Oh, Sages, Nottingham would be 1999, I think, 21 years. Scottie, I keep cutting out. Sorry, thank you for taking the call. Kareem, a privilege to take your call, of course. You and Kareem should have a talk show, says Susan Shaw. I think so. I think Kareem's excellent. So there we are. Wonderful stuff. He's a man that knows his stuff, and he has been extremely supportive of Scottie McClue's talk show when we were on Nation Radio, before some dafties started causing trouble. And that little avenue of pleasure for the nation disappeared. Now, those of you who have just joined us, Anna passed away. Anna, who used to call into Nation Radio to Scottie McClue's Nightline on Nation Radio, which we were on till about, 6 months ago, something like that. So there we are. But Anna has passed away. And I'm so sorry, because she was just such a lovely, lovely person. And I send condolences and love to Anna's family, who I don't think I got to meet, if I remember, but I loved talking to Anna. And she was a big Scottie McClue fan from a way back, and she was great friends with Ricky Fulton and Jack Milroy and Kate as well, Ricky's wife. Scottie, what age was Anna? I don't know, Kareem. It was very difficult to tell. I'm wondering if she would be about maybe, she might have been in her late 60s or something like that, 25 years ago. So she would have been a reasonable age. We'll never ask a lady her age, but Anna was your sort of first of the supermodels, I would have said. So there we are, a lovely, lovely lady. Scottie, I keep cutting out. Sorry, but thank you for taking the call. Not at all, Kareem, as I say. It's a privilege to take your call. Now, how are we doing time-wise? Gosh, it's 2:00. What stage is the football at? Anybody watching? Can we get the football up and see what stage it's at? Is anybody watching? I'll just put this is a fantastic show. No, you know you are doing well in the media when your enemies cannot leave you alone. And they're not necessarily your enemies. They're just almost destroyed through jealousy and envy. They are 7 deadly sinners, these people. Envy, jealousy, malice, pride, gluttony. Rangers 2, Celtic 0. That was the title race over now. Rangers have won. So there we are. This is a fantastic show I have put up. Although I say it myself, I'm talking about you guys. Been an absolute joy. So is the game over, Kareem? Is that it? Says it had its whack? The football is over. So there we go. Now, we've sent this out. I'll do a bit more sharing. Let everybody know what is what. Oh, yes. There we go. Wonderful. This has been an absolutely fantastic show. So is that it, Kareem? Is the game over? Rangers have won 2-0. They'll be dancing in the streets of Rangersville tonight. I can tell. Well, there won't be, actually, because nobody can go out anywhere. There we are. What did we think of the football when behind closed doors? You know, do give me the chat on that one. I'll go back to the chat and ask the question. Was there any difference in watching the match? You know, do tell me that. Was there any difference in watching the match? I see. Now, I'll probably be doing more tests as the day goes on, because I'm going to test some of the streams and see what's what. Get everybody to subscribe, folks. Very, very important. Get everybody to subscribe. We're just coming up to 90 minutes of being on now on here, but I think they must have kicked off just by the time we got the stream up and running, because we had a false start on the other one. Enjoy your live today, Scotty. Fantastic. Susan, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Very much appreciated. Right, folks, I'm going to push off and have a little bit of lunch. I can smell soup. Fantastic. So I'll pop off a little bit of lunch, and probably you'll see me popping up the afternoon with tests. Don't worry too much. We're just finding out what works and what doesn't. Tremendous stuff. Lovely being with you. I'll sing you the goodbye song. Goodbye, everybody, goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, and a cheerio. Bye, Aaron, bye, Kareem, thanks very much for your input, much appreciated. Everybody else, thank you so much, and I hope we've been a good alternative to the football. Dinky-doo.